So it says that we're live. All right, you guys. So we are live and it's actually working. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I am actually coming to you live from Zoom today. I hope that you guys can hear me. We are doing something a little bit differently today. I am gonna check. Oh, it's working. Oh my God, I just love when a plan comes together, y'all. I just love it. All right, you guys. So it is Thursday and it is our series today because we are talking about establishing your credibility. I'm Dominique, CEO and founder of Domino Effects Group. We are a funding and financial literacy platform for entrepreneurs. We help you establish a credible foundation and then match founders to funders, even if they've been denied by traditional banks. Okay. So, guys, today I really want to dive into, we're doing a series today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. But we're getting down to it today because we're starting from the very beginning. We're going to go through all of the pillars of establishing your credibility. And then also, so we'll be doing step one today, but we'll be doing this every single week, you guys, along with some bonuses and everything, because I noticed that we're getting a lot of the same questions and people are having a lot of challenges in the very beginning, right? With establishing their credibility, with making sure that the address is matching, with making sure that all of these foundational fundamental pieces are really lining up. So that is what we're going to dive into today, you guys. So want to start off with pulling up why your business name matters, right? So, and there's a couple different criteria when you're talking about your business name. Now, I started this platform because I know that I've been in the alternative finance space since 2019, and I saw a pattern. So there's a pattern amongst women looking for funding and for minority-owned businesses that were looking for funding. It was very challenging when they would come to apply and then be denied. It was pretty much like, okay, well, where do we go from here, right? So that was a very, very common issue. It was a very common problem. And guys, these are the issues that can be mitigated. So these are the things that we're trying to solve here, right? And by solving these problems, how is that beneficial to you? Well, it helps you with getting more approvals, right? You're not going into the bank all the time and getting declined, right? That's frustrating. That sucks, right? So that's what we're talking about today. And what you can do to help some of these issues. Okay, so first off, what you want to do is start with like the name that you choose, right? Make sure that you're cross-referencing, you guys. I got a few tips for you today. And then at the end of it, we're going to talk about some websites that you can check out so you can cross-reference if your name falls in one of these high-risk categories. But then also if you do decide that the name that you have, you want to change it later, then we'll go over just some of the issues and some of the obstacles that you might run into. But that is not, like I always say, the end all be all. You can work through these things as long as you know what the risks are and what the challenges are ahead of time. You can identify what those are. You can push through it, right? Because it puts you at an advantage, right, guys? Because now you know exactly what what the blueprint is, what you got to go in, what you got to fix, and you don't have to spend this guessing game, right? So you're not going around trying to figure it out. You're not applying with thousands of different lenders, okay? Hundreds of different lenders, wasting your time doing this online. Because I can tell you, just today, we have a client that we're working with and doing really well, actually, about 500,000, almost 600,000 within the first 6 months of 2024, on track to make $1 million and on track to do really well next year as well. However, they have taken out an SBA loan. They've taken out multiple MCA loans, um, to the point of where they're now in a debt spiral, guys. Okay, now a debt spiral is where you're so over leveraged, right? It's almost like you can't see any way out, right? You're taking on so much, you're taking on so many loans that you don't have the cash flow to actually meet, make all the payments, or not only that, you tapped out. Maybe you have the cash flow, you're making all the payments, but you got nothing left over. Okay. How are you supposed to pay your bills and make all your payroll and do all these other things? Not only that, but even expand, right? So, we're talking about all of those facets. All of that stuff is connected, you guys. So when you're thinking about, does your business name even really matter that much? Yes, it does, right? It really, really matters, you guys. So, you want to be aware of that. You better believe it, okay? It matters. But when I use the example of the lady who has the MCAs that she over leveraged. Now, she is in a good position. It's not so much her name, right? But with not knowing, like those are two different things, but they're all interconnected. Okay. So you have your name and then you don't want to be over leveraged, right? But your business name matters because, many of you may be tempted to go with something like super quick, right? But you actually want to spend time. You actually want to spend time. You actually want to dedicate time to this because there actually is a strategy on how to do this. When you think about, big companies like Apple and like Starbucks and, Apple, Starbucks, then you have like, Facebook, all of these different, they have different names than what they actually do, right? Starbucks is a coffee place, but it's not called coffee, right? It's not called coffee beans, right? It's not called hot, fresh coffee in your mouth. It's called Starbucks, right? So, and Apple is not called computers. It's not a computer company. It's called Apple. Okay, so you don't want to have like, be creative, but be creative like within reason, right? Just try to stay away from generic words, you guys. So generic words would be things like, like people can't even understand, right? You don't want to have some like totally obscure name. I mean, you want to be creative, and that kind of seems like, okay, wait, you're telling me to be creative, but am I not supposed to be too creative? Or listen, just trust me here, go with me, okay? You want something that is going to represent you as a company, but you also want to use the strategies that you're staying away from, like buzzwords that they use that are flagged. So for example, banks, credit issuers, lenders, they don't like lending to what is considered like a high risk industry. Okay. So we'll get to the industry later, but to tap in on the words, like let's say you're in credit repair, right? If you're in credit repair and you say something like Jim Jason credit repair, right? And even if you're doing really, 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 really well, the industry that you're in, it's because they won't even touch you, right? So you be aware of some of those things, but make sure that your name is easy to spell. It actually represents what you do. Make sure that you are doing a deep dive into what those high risk industries are. And I am going to leave a link at the bottom of this so that you guys can go check it out, right? And make sure that your business is not reflecting that you're in a high risk industry. If you're in real estate, all my realtors out there and developers, don't worry. Okay. If you're in real estate, if you're in transportation, if you're in trucking, there is a way around this. You just have to get creative with what you're naming your company, right? So you wouldn't say Jim Jones Real Estate. Okay. You might say something along the lines of like property management or something like that, right? So make sure that you can explain it. Okay. You can explain it to somebody, what your business is about. Okay. But even if so if you guys have ever heard of a magazine called Entrepreneur Magazine, and we're all entrepreneurs here. So if you've ever heard of a magazine called Entrepreneur Magazine, they say if you are going to name your company something like totally obscure, right? Then it can work in history. It has worked for companies that are the first in their niche, okay? Oh, the first in their niche. But you, my friends, Dominoes, you are not the first in your niche. Most of you are not going to be the first in your niche, okay? There's a few innovators and, that are out here, but most of you are not going to be operating as the first in the literal first in your niche, okay? Likely that's not going to be you. So let's get creative, right? But if you've made mistakes along the way, you guys, don't even trip. Okay, you can go back, you can fix this, but now that you know that, you don't want to keep, you know, drawing it out, right? So another thing that you guys want to be aware of is like this mix mashup when you're choosing your name of words, right? You don't want to just slap on two names together, you know, oh, let me just put these two things together and we'll just go with it, right? You don't really want to be doing that, okay, you guys? You want to see here. Oh, bummer, we're not. So you don't really want to be doing that. You don't want to slap on two things together, okay? Let's say your company is Pineapple Connects, okay? Pineapple Connects, I don't, you know, you can decide what industry that is, right? But your name is Pineapple Connects. What does Pineapple Connects do? I don't know what Pineapple Connects does, right? So what do they do? You sell pineapples? Are you connecting pineapples to something? Maybe you're a tech company, you've got a tropical twist. What is this connect part that you're doing, right? And are these two, are the pineapples networking with each other? I mean, like what's going on here? How is the pineapple connecting, right? And what is the pineapple, right? So when you guys are just forcing, like just taking two random words and pushing them together, forcing them together that don't make sense, it can get confusing. Other examples like are things where you might notice that certain businesses have like similar words, okay? Shortened words, like you know, like tranquil, right? Tranquility, quality, like quality, right? So other you can don't be tempted to take that tranqui and be like tranqui spa, right? Or like quality serve, right? Quality serve, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with the word quality and the word serve, but quality serve, I mean, does it really go together? So just try to figure it out. You know, our company, we have DFX, Domino Effects. The Domino Effect is the show, the Domino Effect. We are all about helping entrepreneurs. The philosophy of the Domino Effect is these small steps taken that can lead to a wider significant outcome, right? Or not taken. And it could be positive or negative. What you do or you don't do, there will always be an outcome. So the domino effect is about what steps are you going to do to get to that outcome and what outcome do you want? And here we're talking about entrepreneurship and building your business and financing and getting access to money, and not just getting access to money, but how do I get access to smart money, big money, y'all? Okay. So that is exactly what we're doing here. I've already helped clients access over 5 million in funding, and we are just continuing to grow. So, you know, reach out to us, schedule your one-on-one session if you want some help with how to go about doing this, guys. Come into the community and join, and we talk about all of this, you know. All right, so another tip here, if you're going to choose your business name, is do not deliberately misspell your name, okay? Our example that we just used is Pineapple Connects. You don't have to spell connects with a Z, okay? I know that you may think it's cute, but we're not going for cute here necessarily, right? We're going for credibility, legitimacy, establishing a foundation, right? And if you're going to the bank or you're asking for money and you're saying, you know, this is the name of my company, Pineapple Connects, with a Z, I mean, it's just is to stress to try to get people to take it seriously. Now that's I'm not saying there aren't some like unusual names out there where this has worked, but you know, we're not talking about the unicorns, okay? We're talking about, you know, we're talking about you. Okay, so the same goes like you can make up words. You know, we all know like Exxon, Enron, Verizon, right? We know what those words are now, right? You know what they are now. But when they first came out, guys, think about this. When they first came out, nobody knew what that was. Did you know what Enron was? Do you know what? Did you know what Enron was? Seriously, before all that stuff went down, right? Did you know what Exxon, Verizon, you know, like, did you even know what they were? So, you know how they became to be big household names. First of all, they have huge marketing budgets, okay? So they had the capacity to teach what they were, right? Like they spent a lot of time, they spent a lot of money making sure that they became a household name. They spent a lot on marketing, right? That marketing taught people, hey, this is who I need to call when I want to get a cell phone plan, right? This is where I need to go when I want to get gas. So, this is, think about it, things like that, right? Now, do you have the budget? Do you have the capacity to do the same thing? If you decide to create a name, keep it short, okay? Keep it short, keep it connected to what you do, okay? And just keep it memorable, keep it something that you're aiming for, okay? And brainstorm. Use resources like Canva. Canva has a really cool tool called it's like a map. You just type in brain mapping and you can actually map out, right, all of your ideas. You can put sticky notes on there. I love Canva. If you guys love Canva, then go ahead and write Canva, give Canva a shout out because Canva is badass. And a woman started Canva from Australia. So guys, utilize Canva. It is a awesome, awesome, awesome tool. Go in there, play around with the roadmap and put some ideas down, okay? Now, next tip, you don't want to get a name that has a bad URL, okay? Bad URL, bad domain. What do I mean here? Remember the very beginning where I said you're gonna cross-reference and I'm gonna leave a link at the bottom? I was saying that was for high-risk NAICS codes, which we haven't gotten to yet, but that was so you could check to see if you're in a high-risk industry, right? Now, you're also going to want to cross-reference the name that you do decide to end up going with. You're going to want to cross-reference that to make sure that the domain is available. Okay, I'll give you a little story, guys. There's a company called Nasty Gal. You might have heard of it. She actually had a show on Netflix. I can't remember what the show was called. I think it was called Girl Boss. But Sophia Amoruso, she was the CEO. Okay, and Sophia Amoruso was the CEO. And basically, when she was just starting out, she went to go to get the domain name, but Nasty Gal was a porn site. So it was a porn site. Even after she launched her brand, Nasty Gal, she went to go get the website, and the website was a porn website. So people thought, that she was like an adult store, right? Rather than, this vintage fashion retailer. So, the fact that the domain was tied to the porn site was seriously confusing clientele, as you can imagine, right? So you have to be careful. And I think she actually ended up paying like $8,000 for the domain. Don't quote me on that. But and then she got another domain, shopnastygal.com. So you guys, even after launching this brand, right? She launched the brand. She was online, right? You have to be careful. You have to be careful because when your name comes out, if your URL is not available. Oh, and also I saw this on an episode. I just thought of this, y'all. I saw this on an episode of the BBC Apprentice. Have you guys seen this show? It is hilarious, by the way. The Apprentice UK. You got to watch the one with Lord Sugar. It's so funny. But anyway, there was an episode on there where they have the CEOs, right? There's like Lord Sugar, and then I forget the other two, but they're pretty hard asses. And so they're there. There's a section, there's a segment where the the applicant or the contestant is going to go take their business plan, their business plan, their baby, what they brought on, what they've worked on, and they're going to go sit down with the executive, with the CEO, with one of the judges, executives, right? Investors, that's going to look over their business plan and see if it makes sense. And these guys are brutal, y'all. I mean, you got to watch it. Like, they are so brutal, but brutal in the sense of like asking just really hard questions, right? Just straight to the point, hard questions, which is something y'all got to get used to, okay? Because there's a lot of hard questions coming your way if you're looking to grow. But so the funniest part was there was one lady, she had a clothing company, and she sat down and she's starting off with, my name is so-and-so, we've got this company, we're doing this, we're doing that, and boom, 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 just coming out the gate, confidence, wow, right? You can see it. And then the gentleman is looking at, I don't even remember if it was a guy or a girl, but he's looking through all of her stuff. And he's like, okay, so you have, or no, it was a woman. That's right. It was a woman. Do you have this original? She's talking about her pattern. She's talking about the clothes. And then the woman goes, yeah, this is my original pattern. This is something that we've created. Tell me why the judge she pulled out the whole design, same design that she got off another website. Okay. Now, there was another contestant on there, and this might have even been the same one, but I don't think so. I think it was a different one, another contestant. And they asked, it was the same one because he was asking about her outfit. And she's like, nope, totally original design, 100% original. Boom, bam. Are you sure? Got it from a different website. Not only that, the name of her company, they said, do you own the name of this? Do you have a website? Or do you own the name of the domain name? And she's like, no. And she was saying how they're gonna go get it. And the judge, the investor actually said, well, you can't go get it. And she's like, well, why not? And he goes, because we just bought the .com. We bought the .co. We bought the .uk. We bought the .net. We bought I mean, all of them. They bought all of the domains just to prove a point. So yeah, and not only, I mean, that is not unheard of. There are people out there that literally go out and they purchase domains and then they sell them back to people at a price. So get out there, cross-reference, go on GoDaddy. Okay, trust me, you want to go on GoDaddy. You don't even have to go on Go, just Google the name, Google it and see if it's available. Okay, because trust me, you don't want like an ex-employee, a disgruntled customer. You don't want somebody that you don't have a good relationship coming up and snagging that domain against you. Okay, this seriously happens more times than you think, and it can damage your reputation. So own your domain name, own it. Okay, it's simple, it's powerful, and it's cool. So if you need a reference on a domain name, go over to GoDaddy. Check GoDaddy. I love GoDaddy. Okay, like I don't need, I've been using GoDaddy for years. I have tried to use other websites like Wix and other website builders, but GoDaddy, hands down, I love it. And, you know, I love their customer service. I love you can have payment links set up, the emails they give you, like it's everything in there. So I love GoDaddy. Now, next tip, you guys, numbers, okay? Numbers in your name, right? 3 brothers, 4 sisters, 5 girls, right? Now, do you want the actual number, like number 2, number 1, number 4, number 7? Probably not, okay? Because then what if you are going to have a number in your name, spell it out, okay? Spell it out. Don't put the number. But then also, if your number is like 756, right? 756 express delivery or something like that. You don't want to put 756.com. Okay, 756expressdelivery.com even, right? So that's really long. So if you're just starting out, you know, maybe rethinking that, rethinking using the actual number, right, in your name. If you're already established, you're already seasoned, if you're buying a company, then keep the name. You can keep the name, right? So you're not confusing the clientele that you already have, especially if they're coming along with a business, okay? So if you're buying an existing company, you might want to keep the name, okay, guys? But if you're just starting out, right, remember this is step 1. So we're in the foundational stages here. If you're just starting out with choosing your business name, get creative, right? Not too creative. Don't, you know, super misspell anything. But get creative, all right? Come up with something that's unique, come up with something that's memorable, and to where you don't have to buy a bunch of domain names, all right? Now, if you want to buy up all of the domains, then that's fine. That's something different, okay? And you're more than welcome to do that, right? So now, guys, we are covering a lot today. We're moving, we're shaking, we're moving, we're shaking. If you find this information helpful and it resonates with you, then do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because the more that we grow, the more I'm able to share more information, more resources for you on this channel, on the Domino Effect. We share all free courses, free channels, free trainings on entrepreneurship and how you can establish your credibility and get funded. Okay, guys? So let me hit you with some tips, right, before we get out of here, okay? So creativity is great, right? We've said that, right? Now, it's great. It's an amazing asset when it comes to naming your business. Utilize your mind, get in your space, let it flow. But you don't have to get like super out of the box on this, and you don't have to stay super classic with it, right? Fathers and sons, Jesus and sons, whatever, right? There's so much room for you to think outside of the box, okay? But don't get super attached to it, okay? You might be changing it. We might be changing ours. So you might be changing it, right? You might even drop a word from your name, okay? So be creative, but you know, just remember if you do change it, if any company changes it, it can be a little bit time consuming. And you usually do have to pay a cost because you have to amend the name as well. So if you are going to change your name, I want you guys to be super prepared. And here's 5 things that I'm going to leave you with that you might run into if you are, this is the direction that you decide to go. So number 1, it can be really hard to reestablish your credibility, guys. The goal of this channel and the goal of our coaching program and what we do here is to help you leverage, right? We want to teach you how to access, make yourself attractive to our lenders and our credit issuers and underwriters. I mean, that's everything, right? So when you do this, right, you've already, let's say you're established business, right? You've already, and let's say you've set up everything the right way. Now you're going to have to go back, reset everything up, okay? What I mean by go back and reset everything up, I'm talking about, you'll have to update it with your Secretary of State. You have to update it with your Secretary of State and your IRS. You have to make sure everything is matching, guys. Okay, we don't want to see one letter or number off. Everything has to be matching. Everything has to be with the correct name. So if you have changed your name, everything needs to be changed to the correct name. That means go to your bank, tell your bank that you've changed your name as well. Make sure that you are confident in your business name being matching across the board, all over the board, right? Before you even go out and you start applying. Don't even apply until you check this, okay? Because you're gonna limit yourself or you're gonna end up getting like a lot of NCAs or other things, right? So remember, we're trying to have strategy here, guys. So let me tell you a true story. Okay, this is a true story that happened with my client, had a trucking company. And let's say, at the risk of saying the company name, I'm going to change it to like just a different letters. So it was Z to C. Okay, we'll say C to Z. C to Z Trucking. Okay, C to Z Trucking. This C to Z Trucking had a partner. When they dissolved the partnership, they changed the name. They changed the name to like C to Z Trucking something. It was like one other word, or it was C and Z Trucking partnership. It was something, CNZ Trucking word, and then they dissolved the partnership and he just left it at CNZ Trucking. When that happened, it was changed at the Secretary of State, it was changed at the IRS, but it was not changed at the bank. So when he came to us and he did actually meet the revenue requirement, he actually hadn't changed it to the bank. So it was really like there was nothing that we could do at that time, right? But he did go back and he did make the changes. And so but basically you have to put your new account under that name. So if you're going to take the time to change your name, make sure you're taking the time to double check and verify that everybody else has the same information that you took the time out to update. Okay. So the second problem that you might run into if you have to change your name is you'll have to update your licenses. Okay. I mean, I don't know if these are really problems so much as like extra things that you're going to have to do, right? You're going to have to update your licenses. I mean, is it really a problem? You have to update them anyway, right? Every business needs the right license to operate. Get it in, but it needs to be in your exact name. It needs to be in your exact address. You needs to have all of the right information on there, okay? So track this. You guys want to make sure you're tracking. If you're in our program, then you already know we're talking about tracking. Guys, when you track your stuff, you have a 3 times higher chance of success, okay, guys? Track, all right? Now, the third thing you want to do is you have to update with the IRS and the Secretary of State. Remember, we said that. This is free. It's free, y'all. Okay, go online. Meaning it's free to check it. But if you change it and you're amending it, then you might pay a cost, especially if you're in California. But now, if you start off as a sole prop, okay, and a lot of my people have started off as sole props. If you start off as a sole prop, you want to be operating with the intent that you're going to switch to an LLC or a corporation, okay? Why? To reduce your risk, to take advantage of tax benefits. You don't want everything in the same place. When you have everything under your single member LLC, you're turning in your taxes where everything is on there, right? Everything, so they can see everything. So I'm not a tax person, get with your guy, get with your tax people to see how you can reduce your risk and take advantage of some tax benefits for yourself, okay? Usually the way that you structure your business is going to have an impact on your taxes. So reach out to somebody because you want to be separating liability, guys. Ultimately, you want to have things separate. You don't want to have everything in one place because it puts you at a 33% higher chance for an audit. Boom. Don't know if you knew that. Shout out to Carlton Dennis, by the way. puts you at a 33% chance of an audit. So I know you guys don't want that. So to make sure you're updating. Then you want to get your duns, y'all. So this is something that you should be doing anyway. But you want to get your duns for your business, okay? And it must match your company name exactly, okay? Exactly, okay? So go to the Dun& Bradstreet website. I have a link down at the bottom that I'll be posting as well. If it doesn't show up, sometimes, we have some issues with it not showing up. So just send me a link. DM me or text 888-488-4145. Text DMB and I'll send you the link to the website. You can check it out yourself. So you can text 888-488-4145 DMB if you need that. That's D as in Delta, N like Nancy, and Bravo. D and Bravo. D. Why don't you just text me D and B, Duns, or just text me Duns, DUNS. That's easier. Do Duns, okay? 888-488-4145, text Duns, and then we will be able to send that information over to you, okay? Now, the fifth thing that you might run into with changing your name is your customer loyalty and branding, right? You worked very hard to build up your reputation. You worked very hard to build up your company to where it needs to be. And to cultivate your brand, right? Who you are. Like people know who you are based on what you're putting out there. So changing the name of your business, like completely changing the name of your business can put a dent in it, no matter what, right? So, because people are still looking for what you were before. But can you recover? Of course you can recover. Yes, you can recover. But it can take a while and you might be looking at a higher, like it's probably going to be more expensive, okay? And a lot of companies have rebranded. A ton of companies have rebranded. But also you're going to spend some time teaching and marketing and letting people know what, who you are now, who you are now. So, whatever name that you decide to go for your business, you guys, it is ultimately going to be the difference between how much funding you get, if you get funded at all, and then also the limits, it will determine what options are available to you. There's a lot involved in the business. Having having the right business name is really crucial when you're first starting. So think about these things when you're going in and you're applying. We talked about like having obscure names, right? Like Pineapple Connects, right? Or misspelling, deliberately misspelling, right? With that Z in there. Okay. Think about, what a best Toys R Us. Okay. Toys R Us, they did this, right? But they did this because it's a kid's store. So it's supposed to be like it's intentionally like a kid wrote it, right? So there was like a strategy behind that too. But you guys remember what we said, okay? Don't take it too far out of the box, right? Don't go so far out of the box that that it's actually going to be a detriment to you and that it actually hurts you. So the goal here is to grow and get bigger and to scale and to get the resources that you need. But you want to make sure that you're staying on top of these things. With your NAICS code, that document that I'm going to attach, if you need that, then just text 888-488-4145 and we'll get that sent over to your email, guys. Keep checking your NAICS codes. This is going to tell you if you are in a high-risk industry. NAICS stands for North American Industry Classification System. And it literally is what they're looking at when they look at your business on the application. So you don't want to have them deciding what this is going to be for you. All right, you guys, but that'll be in another training that we have coming up. Today, we were just talking about your business name and ways that you can cross-reference, ways that you can check out if you're in a high-risk industry. We also talked about how you can check to see if your domain name is available. And then we talked about some things that you should be aware of if you're considering changing your name. So guys, that's it for today. Once again, I'm Dominique and I'm founder of Domino Effects Group and this show, The Domino Effect. Guys, if you want more information, more resources, and more assistance, then go ahead and schedule your one-on-one with our funding team so we can get out to you and tell you all of the different options that you qualify for right now. Or if you're not yet qualified, then the right steps that you need to do to be able to qualify for the funding that you need sooner rather than later. All right, guys. So go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe. Appreciate you being here. And see you at the webinar on Saturday. Okay. If you're interested in leveraging the platform and partnering with DFX, then go ahead and or if you even if you want to be an affiliate, if you're looking at ways to add additional income, or if you're already in the lending or finance space and you're looking for ways to add more value to your clients, and I'll see you on Saturday because that's where you need to be, y'all.